Welcome back to the channel, Helldivers. We have a ton to talk about regarding the squids. That's right, they are once again in the news cycle, with even Arrowhead themselves kind of, alluding to another return of theirs in a big way. But what could this all mean? We're going to have to dive in and talk about what's coming, what's to be expected, as well as maybe some things that you might not have seen, so let's dive in. So in a recent interview with Shams, he talked about how a lot of Helldivers are going to die in the next update. Now, this is being tied to the next big narrative, and we do believe that it is going to still be Factory Worlds featuring the automatons and their newest, narrative push. But then also, there is talks about, hey, maybe towards the end of that or midway through, the squids are also going to be coming back with a much larger force coming through. And I think that there's now more credibility to that theory because Arrowhead themselves are showing off in a image still in a news broadcast about 23 seconds into the video. You can see some Illuminate ruins coming through. Now, if you are a little bit wise to this is actually alluding to some Archive Worlds updates. Now, you're saying, hey, Factory Worlds, Archive Worlds, Ox, what the hell are you talking about? I will get there in due time, my friends, but let's, keep moving. But I just wanted to say that Arrowhead is definitely working on something big, and they do have in mind both of the factions with some brand new narratives on the way. So to start things off, here's a cleaner look at those ruins that were shown in the broadcast, minus all the different overlay. But then also, friends, we do know that this is going to open up to different mission varieties. So one of it is going to be closing out these big portals that we have over here, but then also taking on the different obelisks. Now here's an image of it shooting us, Helldivers, and I did cover this in a previous video, so go see that if you want to see, the different missions a little bit more in full. And then, friends, we do know that we'll be getting access to like these bigger complexes, and what this is going to be is a large summoning circle. Now, I know, friends, this is very early on to what we can find, but here is an image of the summoning circle and with a portal in the middle. Now, this is probably what's going to be able to be spawning more of these Chaos Cultist forces coming into the levels, and we will be able to have a mission type. We're going to have to kill a lot of them as they're spawning in, so that's pretty exciting. And then once again, here's a reminder that we're going to be getting an awesome grave robbing mission where we'll have to go and steal the enemy sarcophagi, and the enemies will be spawning cultists and a ton of other units to go take us out. But let's talk about some more fun things, and that's going to be the actual units themselves. Now, I will caveat and say this is all subject to change because it's been some time since we've seen them. Although we've had some updates, they could still be reworked. So we'll see what actually makes it into the game when they finally come through, but let's work through some of the units. First up is going to be our Zealot and Ghouls, and I think this is one of the more fun units. This guy has a laser whip and can fly around, and then can spawn more chaff units that are going to be these ghouls. They're very weak, but they will start to, spawn out of portals, spawn out of the ground, and run after the Helldiver. So not only are you going to have to, deal with people charging you, but also deal with this flying bastard over here and all of his magic. Then next we have the Magus Initiate and the Adept. Now these guys are essentially space wizards, and obviously I'm going to be countering that with a good old 500 or a 380, but these are going to be fun guys to fight on the battlefield. Then we have more melee focus units, and those are going to be the Outcast, Tracker, and Slasher. These guys have blades, as you can see, and they are fast, and they're trying to kill us very quickly, so be careful and be dodging out there. And then we have the scariest of the bunch, and that is going to be the Prophet, because he kind of is everything in one. He flies around, he can shoot things at us, he has a force field, and then also he can summon ghouls as well, so you are going to have to be very careful of this guy on the battlefield. And then we have the Xenobites, and I've heard mixed things on these because I heard that they are potentially scrapped and have been reworked into these other units, but we'll see. But if so, they're kind of very similar to the Overseer in many ways, but I guess a little bit faster in their movesets. And then here's an image of a lot of the forces coming together against us Helldivers, and this looks pretty intimidating. We have one of the illusionists that has the force field that's coming after us, with the walkers behind him, tons of voteless and other, cultists and everything like that. And I, for one, cannot wait to take this on. One more to show, and that's very, very speculative, but that is going to be if we do get a boss unit for the Illuminate, will we see the return of the Great Eye from Helldivers 1? Now, this guy over here was a beast to deal with. He was a huge player killer on the battlefield, and if Shams himself is saying that, hey, player's going to die a lot, maybe we will see a return of the boss for the Illuminate. So I'm going to wrap things up over here, friends, but if you are interested in seeing more of the actual gameplay and a little bit more of the units that we did not show over here, please go check out those other leaked videos that we have on the channel, and be sure to, use those likes, subscribe, use those hype points, all the good things, because it helps us out, and we will see you in the next one. Take care, everyone.